Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Let your body sink into complete relaxation. Tonight, we're going on a peaceful journey to discover the most calming and beautiful truths about one of nature's most magical phenomena. The Northern Lights, the aurora borealis, dancing curtains of light in the polar sky that have captivated humans for thousands of years. Imagine yourself lying in the snow on a clear, cold night, wrapped in the warmest blankets imaginable. Above you, the sky comes alive with ribbons of green light, flowing and shifting like silk in a gentle breeze. This is real. This happens. And tonight, through these peaceful words, you'll discover why this natural wonder is one of the most soothing and mesmerizing sights in our entire world. The Northern Lights are caused by something that travels millions of miles to reach us. The sun, that bright star in our daytime sky, constantly sends out particles into space. These particles are called solar wind. They travel through the vast darkness of space for days, crossing the enormous distance between the sun and Earth. When these tiny particles finally reach our planet, something magical happens. Earth has an invisible shield around it, called the magnetosphere. It's created by our planet's magnetic field, and it protects us from harmful solar radiation. When those solar particles meet Earth's magnetic field, they're guided toward the North and South poles. It's like the Earth is gently directing these particles to specific places, channeling them along invisible lines of magnetic force. As these particles approach the poles, they enter our atmosphere. High up in the sky, about 60 to 200 miles above the surface, these particles collide with gases in our atmosphere, mostly oxygen and nitrogen. And when they collide, something beautiful happens. The gases light up, they glow, they create colors, they dance. The most common color of the Northern Light is green. This soft, ethereal green comes from oxygen molecules about 60 miles up in the atmosphere. It's the same oxygen you breathe, but up there in the thin air when solar particles hit it. It glows the most peaceful shade of green you can imagine, like light shining through new spring leaves, like the glow of fireflies on a summer night. Gentle, calming, beautiful. Sometimes the Northern Lights are red. This deeper color appears even higher in the atmosphere, up to 200 miles above Earth. Red auroras come from oxygen too. But at these extreme heights, where the air is incredibly thin, the red is softer than you might imagine. Not bright like a stop sign, but subtle, like the last light of sunset reflected in calm water. These red auroras are rarer, more special, like nature's secret gift to those patient enough to watch. Blue and purple light dance in the aurora too. These colors come from nitrogen in our atmosphere. When nitrogen is hit by solar particles, it can glow blue or purple, adding depth and variety to the light show. Imagine layers of color, one behind another, creating a three-dimensional curtain of light across the entire sky. Blues like deep twilight, purples like distant mountains. At dusk, the northern lights move. They flow. They dance. They're never still. This movement happens because the solar wind isn't constant. It fluctuates. It changes. The particles arrive in waves and pulses, and the magnetic field guides them in swirling patterns. The result is light that seem alive, that ripple and wave like fabric in a breeze, that fold and unfold across the sky in the most graceful, slow-motion ballet you could ever witness, that ancient peoples around the world created stories to explain the northern light. The Vikings believed the lights were reflections from the shields and armor of the Valkyries, warrior maidens who led fallen heroes to Valhalla. Can you imagine that? Thinking that the lights in the sky were divine beings preparing a place for brave souls. There's something deeply peaceful about that belief. The idea that the lights represent care and guidance. The indigenous Sami people of northern Scandinavia had their own beliefs about the aurora. They taught their children to be respectful and quiet when the lights appeared. They believed the lights were powerful and deserved reverence. Some Sami stories said the lights were the souls of the departed, dancing in the sky. Others said they were magical beings that could hear human voices. These stories taught respect for nature's beauty and mystery. In Finland, the northern lights are called revanchelit, which means fox fires. According to Finnish mythology, an Arctic fox ran across the snow, and its tail swept up snowflakes that sparkled into the sky, creating the aurora. Imagine that beautiful image, a fox running through pristine snow under a dark sky, its tail painting lights across the heavens. It's a gentle, magical explanation that brings comfort and wonder. The name Aurora Borealis was given by Galilei in 1619. Aurora was the Roman goddess of dawn, and Boreas was the Greek god of the north wind. So the name literally means the northern dawn. Galileo watched these lights from Italy, where they are extremely rare, and he tried to understand them scientifically. Even though his explanation wasn't quite right, his name for them stuck. The Aurora Borealis. It sounds like poetry. The northern lights aren't just in the north. There are southern lights too, called Aurora Australis. They happen at the South Pole for exactly the same reason. Solar particles, guided by Earth's magnetic field, colliding with atmospheric gases, creating the same beautiful glow. People in southern Australia, New Zealand, and Antarctica can see these southern auroras. The lights embrace both ends of our planet. Like Earth is wrapped in glowing ribbons. You don't have to travel to the Arctic to potentially see the northern lights. During strong solar storms, when the sun sends out especially powerful bursts of particles, the aurora can be seen much farther south than usual. People in Scotland, northern England, Canada, and the northern United States sometimes see them. In very rare, very powerful storms, they've been seen as far south as the Caribbean. Nature sometimes sends her light show on tour. Asterisk, the best time to see the northern lights is during the darkest months of the year. In the far north, this means winter, when the nights are long and deep. But darkness isn't the only requirement. You also need clear skies. Clouds hide the aurora. You need to be away from city lights because light pollution makes the aurora harder to see. The perfect conditions are a clear, dark winter night in a remote location. Cold, quiet, and absolutely beautiful. The aurora is always there, always happening, but we can only see it in darkness. During the Arctic summer, when the sun never fully sets, the northern lights are still occurring high in the atmosphere. The solar wind still blows. The particles still collide with gases. The lights still glow. But the midnight sun is too bright, and we simply can't see the aurora against that brightness. It's like trying to see stars at noon. They're there, just invisible. Scientists can predict when the northern lights might be especially active. They monitor the sun for solar storms and coronal mass ejections. When they see a big burst of solar particles leaving the sun, they can calculate when those particles will reach Earth, usually about 2 to 3 days later. Then they issue aurora forecasts, telling people in northern regions that the lights might be particularly spectacular soon. It's like having a weather forecast, but for cosmic light shows. The northern lights are completely silent to most people. You stand beneath them, watching colors flow across the sky. And usually, you hear nothing but the wind and your own breathing. However, some people have reported hearing faint sounds during very intense auroras, crackling, hissing, whooshing. Scientists debate whether these sounds are real or imagined. But whether sound exists or not, the visual silence of the aurora adds to its peaceful, dreamlike quality. Indigenous peoples across the Arctic have different beliefs about whether one should whistle or make noise under the aurora. Some traditions say you must be quiet and respectful. Others say you can interact with the lights. Some stories tell of people whistling at the aurora and the lights responding, coming closer or dancing more vigorously. These traditions show deep human curiosity about the light and a desire to connect with them somehow. The oval shape of the aurora zone follows Earth's magnetic field. If you could see Earth from space during an aurora, you'd see a glowing oval around the magnetic North Pole. This oval expands and contracts depending on solar activity. During calm times, it's smaller, closer to the pole. During solar storms, it expands, bringing the aurora to more southern latitudes. The Earth wears a crown of light that grows and shrinks with the sun's mood. The colors of the aurora can tell you about the altitude and the gases involved. Low-altitude auroras, around 60 miles up, are typically green from oxygen. Higher up, around 200 miles, oxygen creates red. Nitrogen creates blue and purple, usually at the lower edges of the aurora. Very rarely, you might see all these colors at once, creating a full spectrum display, a complete rainbow dancing vertically in the night sky. Each aurora is unique. No two displays are exactly the same. The patterns, the colors, the intensity, the speed of movement, all of these vary. One night, you might see a faint green glow on the horizon. Another night, the entire sky might be filled with rapidly moving curtains of multiple colors. Some auroras last minutes, others last hours. This uniqueness makes each viewing special, a gift that will never be exactly repeated. The intensity of the northern lights is measured on a scale. The KP index goes from 0 to 9. 0 means no aurora activity. 9 means extreme activity with lights visible far from the poles. Most nights in the aurora zone have a KP index of 1 or 2, meaning quiet, subtle displays. When the index reaches 5 or above, the lights become dramatic and can be seen farther south. These scales help aurora hunters know when to look up. Photography has changed how we see the northern lights. Camera sensors can detect colors and details that human eyes sometimes miss. This is why photos of the aurora often look more colorful and dramatic than what you see with your naked eye. In person, the aurora might appear as pale green or white, but through a camera with a long exposure, purples, reds, and blues become visible. Both experiences are valid and beautiful in different ways. Watching the northern lights has a meditative quality. You stand or lie in the cold darkness, looking up, and time seems to stop. The lights move slowly enough that you can't quite see the movement. But when you look away and then look back, they've changed. It's like watching clouds slowly transform or watching snow gently fall. Your mind quiets. Your breathing slows. You become present in the moment, connected to something vast and ancient. The northern lights have inspired countless artists, writers, and musicians. Painters try to capture their colors. Poets write about their mystery and beauty. Composers create music that evokes the flowing, ethereal quality of the aurora. There's something about these lights that touches the creative human spirit that makes us want to respond with our own creation, our own attempt to share the beauty we've witnessed. Every 11 years, the sun goes through a cycle of activity. At solar maximum, the sun is very active, with many sunspots and solar storms. This means more solar particles heading toward Earth, which means more frequent and intense auroras. At solar minimum, the sun is quieter, and auroras are less common and less dramatic. We're always somewhere in this 11-year cycle, moving between quiet and active periods. The lights follow the sun's rhythm. The aurora makes a sound to Earth's magnetic field. Scientists have detected extremely low-frequency radio waves generated during auroras. These waves are far too low for human ears to hear directly, but they can be converted into audible sounds using special equipment. The aurora sings to our planet in frequencies below human hearing, a cosmic conversation we can only eavesdrop on with technology. Let's continue our peaceful journey through the magical world of the Northern Lights, discovering more calming truths about this beautiful celestial dance. The Northern Lights can appear in different forms. Sometimes they look like scattered patches of light. Other times they appear as arcs, smooth curves, stretching across the horizon like gentle smiles painted on the sky. The most dramatic form is called curtains or drapes, vertical sheets of light that hang down from invisible points in space, swaying and folding like fabric moved by a breeze that doesn't exist. Each form has its own beauty, its own peaceful presence. Corona auroras are especially magical. This happens when you're standing directly beneath the aurora, looking straight up. The lights appear to radiate from a central point directly above you, spreading out in all directions like the petals of a flower or rays of light streaming through a hole in clouds. It's as if the entire sky is rotating around you, with you at the center of this cosmic spiral. People who've experienced corona auroras describe feeling small and connected to the universe at the same time. The speed of the aurora's movement varies. Sometimes the lights change so slowly that you barely notice them shifting. You might watch for minutes before realizing the patterns have completely transformed. Other times, especially during strong geomagnetic storms, the lights move rapidly, pulsing and flashing, dancing across the sky in seconds. But even the fast movements have a grace to them, a natural rhythm that feels organic and alive rather than chaotic. Native Alaskan peoples have many different beliefs about the aurora. Some tribes believed the lights were the spirits of animals, particularly salmon and whales. Others thought they were the spirits of human ancestors playing ball with a walrus skull. The Inuit had stories that the lights were spirits of the dead. And some groups believed you could communicate with them by whistling. These diverse beliefs show how deeply the aurora affected indigenous cultures across the Arctic. The aurora exists in 3 dimensions, not just 2. When you see it from the ground, it looks like a flat curtain against the sky, but it actually has depth. The aurora stretches vertically for sometimes hundreds of miles through the atmosphere. If you could fly through it in a spacecraft, you'd see that it has thickness and layers. It's like flying through glowing fog that extends upward into space. Astronauts who've seen the aurora from orbit describe it as one of the most beautiful sights imaginable. Speaking of astronauts, the International Space Station often flies through the altitude where auroras occur. Astronauts on the station sometimes look down and see the aurora beneath them, a glowing ribbon across the curve of the Earth. They've taken photographs showing city lights on Earth below, the green glow of the aurora in the middle, and the blackness of space above. These images remind us that we live on a planet surrounded by beauty, protected by invisible forces that occasionally become visible in the most spectacular ways. The thickness of the visible aurora is usually between 1 and 10 kilometers. That might sound like a lot, but compared to how high it is above Earth, it's quite thin. Imagine a ribbon that's 60 to 200 miles tall, but only a few miles thick. It's like a vertical sheet of light hanging in space. This thinness is part of what gives the aurora its delicate, ethereal appearance. It looks fragile. It's like something that could dissolve at any moment. Dogs and other animals react to the northern lights in interesting ways. Sled dogs in the Arctic often howl when the aurora appears. Though, whether this is in response to the lights themselves or to changes in Earth's magnetic field is unclear. Some people report their dogs becoming unusually quiet and attentive during auroras. Wild animals like caribou seem largely unbothered by the lights, continuing their activities as if nothing unusual is happening. Perhaps to them, the aurora is just another normal part of their northern home. The aurora has practical effects beyond its beauty. Strong geomagnetic storms that cause intense auroras can interfere with radio communications and GPS signals. They can even cause power grid problems in extreme cases. In March of 1989, a powerful geomagnetic storm caused auroras to be seen as far south as Texas and Florida. But it also caused a major power blackout in Quebec, Canada. The same cosmic forces that create beauty can also remind us of the sun's power. But most of the time, auroras are harmless to us on the ground. You can stand beneath them safely, breathing normally, feeling nothing unusual. The particles causing the lights are too high up to affect you. The aurora occurs above where airplanes fly. You're protected by the thick atmosphere below. So when you watch the northern lights, you can relax completely, knowing you're witnessing something powerful yet perfectly safe from your vantage point on Earth's surface. Asterisk, the word aurora comes from the Latin word for dawn. This is fitting because the aurora does resemble dawn light in some ways. Both involve colorful glows in the sky. Both create soft, diffused illumination. But while dawn happens in the east and marks the beginning of day, the aurora can appear anywhere in the sky and happens in darkness. It's like having multiple dawns occurring simultaneously in different parts of the sky. But instead of bringing daylight, they enhance the peaceful darkness of night in medieval Europe, when the aurora was occasionally seen far south during powerful solar storms. People didn't understand what they were seeing. They interpreted the red auroras as blood in the sky, signs of coming war or disaster. Chronicles from the Middle Ages describe people being terrified by the lights, praying for salvation. Now we know these lights are natural and harmless, but we can understand their fear. Imagine seeing the sky turn red with dancing lights and having no scientific explanation. It would seem supernatural. The northern lights are more active around the equinoxes. In March and September, when day and night are equal length everywhere on Earth, geomagnetic activity tends to increase. Scientists aren't entirely sure why this happens, but it's related to the angle of Earth's magnetic field relative to the sun. So spring and fall are actually slightly better times for aurora viewing than the depths of winter, though winter's long darkness still provides more viewing opportunities. Some people dedicate their lives to studying the aurora. These scientists, called aurora researchers or space physicists, use instruments on the ground and in space to measure and analyze auroras. They study how solar wind interacts with Earth's magnetic field. They try to predict when auroras will occur. They investigate the chemistry and physics of the lights. Their work helps us understand not just the aurora, but also the sun, Earth's magnetic field, and the space environment around our planet. The aurora makes no heat. Despite being caused by energetic particles and appearing as bright light, the aurora doesn't warm the air around it. The collisions that create the light happen in such thin air that there's not enough gas to hold or transfer heat. So the aurora remains as cold as the surrounding space. It's pure light without warmth, which somehow makes it seem more ethereal and ghost-like. Beauty without temperature. Glow without fire. Ancient Chinese records mention the aurora. Chinese astronomers kept detailed records of celestial events for thousands of years, and occasionally they noted strange lights in the northern sky. These observations are valuable to modern scientists studying long-term patterns in solar activity. The aurora, witnessed by ancient Chinese scholars, is the same phenomenon we see today, unchanged across millennia. The same sun, the same earth, the same magnetic dance, creating the same beautiful lights. The aurora affects the chemistry of the upper atmosphere. The energy from solar particles can break apart molecules and create new chemical compounds that wouldn't form otherwise. This happens so high up that it doesn't affect the air we breathe, but it does slightly alter the composition of the extreme upper atmosphere. In a way, the aurora is constantly, gently changing our atmosphere, adding tiny amounts of different chemicals, participating in Earth's complex atmospheric chemistry. There are aurora on other planets too. Jupiter has auroras, and they're much more powerful than Earth's because Jupiter has a stronger magnetic field. Saturn has auroras. Even Mars has localized auroras, though Mars lacks a global magnetic field. These alien auroras are caused by similar processes: solar wind particles interacting with magnetic fields and atmospheres. Across our solar system, multiple worlds wear crowns of light. Earth's aurora is part of a larger family of planetary light shows. The intensity of auroras is measured in different ways. Scientists measure the energy of incoming particles, the brightness of the light produced, and the extent of the aurora's reach. But for casual observers, intensity is simpler. It's how bright the aurora appears, how much of the sky it covers, how fast it moves. A mild aurora might be a faint green arc on the horizon. An intense aurora fills the entire sky with rapidly moving curtains of multiple colors. Both are beautiful, just in different magnitudes. Photography tips for the aurora always emphasize patience and preparation. You need a camera that can handle long exposures. You need a tripod to keep the camera steady. You need to be in a dark location with clear skies. And then you need to wait, sometimes for hours, for the aurora to appear and intensify. But this waiting is part of the experience. Standing in the cold darkness, watching the sky, hoping for the lights when they finally appear. The wait makes them even more precious. The aurora has been featured in countless films and documentaries. Filmmakers travel to the Arctic specifically to capture the lights on camera. They use time-lapse photography to show how the aurora evolves over hours. They use real-time footage to show the swaying movement. They interview people who've witnessed spectacular displays. These films bring the aurora to people who may never visit the Arctic, sharing the beauty with the world. But filmmakers always say the same thing, that no camera truly captures what it's like to be there in person. Some hotels and lodges in Aurora. Viewing areas have been designed specifically for watching the lights. They have large windows or glass ceilings in the rooms. Some have heated outdoor viewing areas. Others offer wake-up calls when the aurora appears, so you don't miss it. These aurora resorts make viewing the lights comfortable. Though many people still prefer the traditional experience of simply going outside in the cold and looking up at the sky without barriers between them and the lights. The aurora has inspired spiritual experiences in many people. Standing beneath the lights, feeling small under the vast sky. Watching colors you can't quite believe are real. It creates a sense of connection to something larger. Some people describe feeling peaceful, centered, humbled. Others feel energized and inspired. Some feel emotional, even moved to tears by the beauty. The aurora seems to touch something deep in the human spirit, beyond words or rational explanation. Scientists have created artificial auroras in laboratories. By using vacuum chambers, magnetic fields, and particle beams, they can recreate the basic process on a tiny scale. These artificial auroras help researchers understand the physics involved. But these lab versions are tiny and brief compared to the real thing. They're like comparing a candle flame to a forest fire. Both are fire, but one is vast and wild, while the other is small and controlled. Nature's aurora remains far more impressive than anything humans can create. The connection between the sun and the aurora means we're seeing evidence of events that happened 93 million miles away. When you watch the northern lights, you're seeing the result of storms on the sun's surface. Particles that left the sun days ago, traveling through the vacuum of space, finally arriving at Earth and announcing their presence with light. It's like receiving a message, but instead of words, the message is written in glowing curtains across the sky. The sun is always sending us these messages. Some people report feeling electromagnetic sensations during powerful auroras. Tingling skin, hair standing up, a sense of static in the air. Whether these sensations are real or psychological is debated. The aurora does involve electromagnetic forces, but whether they're strong enough to affect human bodies directly is uncertain. Regardless, the experience of standing beneath a powerful aurora, whether you feel physical sensations or not, is certainly memorable and moving. The aurora zone shifts slowly over time. Earth's magnetic North Pole isn't fixed. It wanders, moving several miles per year. As it moves, the aurora oval moves with it. Places that were once prime aurora viewing locations might see fewer auroras in the future, while other locations might see more. This slow shift happens over decades and centuries, invisible in a human lifetime, but significant over longer timescales. The aurora is as changeable in location as it is in appearance. Let's drift deeper into the peaceful world of the northern lights, discovering even more gentle truths about this magnificent dance of light and color across the polar skies. Asterisk. The aurora has different personalities on different nights. Some nights, it appears bashful, showing only faint glows near the horizon, as if it's testing whether anyone is watching. Other nights, it's bold and confident, filling the entire sky with brilliant colors and rapid movement. And some nights, it doesn't appear at all, leaving the sky dark and starry. This unpredictability is part of the aurora's charm. You can never take it for granted. Each appearance is a gift, not a guarantee. In Norway, there's a belief that the aurora can affect pregnancy and childbirth. Old folklore suggested that looking at the aurora while pregnant could cause the child to be born cross-eyed. Of course, this isn't true, but it shows how mysterious and powerful the aurora seemed to people before science explained it. These superstitions came from reverence and a little bit of fear. The aurora was so beautiful and strange that people attributed magical properties to it. The best aurora displays often happen between 10 at night and 2 in the morning. This is when the orientation of Earth's magnetic field relative to the sun is optimal for auroral activity. So aurora hunters learn to be patient, to stay awake during these late hours, to resist the pull of sleep in order to witness the lights. There's something special about this timing. The world is quiet. Most people are sleeping, and those who are awake get rewarded with nature's private show. The aurora can be forecasted, but never perfectly predicted. Scientists can say there's a high probability of aurora activity on a certain night, but they can't tell you exactly when it will start, how long it will last, or how intense it will be. This uncertainty means aurora viewing always involves an element of chance. You might wait all night and see nothing, or you might step outside for 1 minute and witness the display of a lifetime. This randomness makes each successful viewing feel even more special. Some photographers spend entire winters chasing the aurora. They check forecasts daily, drive hundreds of miles to find clear skies, and spend countless cold nights waiting and hoping. For them, capturing the perfect aurora photograph becomes almost an obsession. But they'll tell you it's worth it. Each incredible shot represents patience, dedication, and a deep love for these natural lights. Their photographs help share the aurora with people who may never see it in person. The Cree people of Canada called the aurora the dance of the spirits. They believed the lights were spirits of the deceased communicating with the living. Some Cree traditions said you could call the spirits closer by whistling, but you had to be respectful because the spirits were powerful. Other traditions warned against whistling, saying it might offend the spirits. These varying beliefs show how different communities interpreted the same phenomenon in their own meaningful ways. During solar maximum, when the sun is most active, auroras can occur almost nightly in the aurora zone. People living in places like Fairbanks, Alaska, or Tromsø, Norway, might see the light dozens of times per winter. It becomes almost routine, though those who live there say you never really get used to it. The aurora remains special no matter how many times you see it. Each display is unique, and the beauty never becomes ordinary. The aurora follows the contours of Earth's magnetic field lines. If you could see these invisible lines, they would arch from the magnetic North Pole down into Earth and back out at the magnetic South Pole. The aurora traces these lines, making them visible. In a way, the aurora is Earth's magnetic field made manifest, painted in light across the sky. It's like seeing something invisible suddenly become visible, revealing the hidden structure of the space around our planet. Red auroras are special because they're rarer and require specific conditions. They occur at very high altitudes where oxygen is extremely sparse. When you see red in the aurora, you're seeing light from collisions happening nearly 200 miles above Earth's surface. This is higher than where most satellites orbit, higher than where meteors burn up, higher than where weather occurs. The red aurora touches the edge of space itself. The aurora doesn't have a smell, but many people associate it with the smell of cold, clean air. This is because you usually view the aurora on clear, cold nights far from cities. The air in these conditions has a particular freshness, a crispness that you can almost taste. So while the aurora itself is odorless, the experience of viewing it becomes linked in memory with that pure Arctic air. The sensory experience goes beyond just sight. There are aurora research stations scattered across the Arctic and Antarctic. These facilities house scientists and instruments that continuously monitor auroral activity. They use cameras, magnetometers, rheometers, and other specialized equipment. The data they collect helps us understand space, weather, and improve our ability to predict auroras. These research stations are often in remote, harsh locations, but the scientists who work there are passionate about unraveling the aurora's mysteries. The aurora appears in legends from Scotland and Ireland too, even though it's rare that far south. Irish mythology sometimes interpreted red auroras as blood in the sky, presaging battles. Scottish folklore had various explanations, some seeing the lights as reflections from the shields of the Valkyries. Similar to Norse beliefs, since Scotland had Viking influence. These southern European interpretations tended to be darker because the aurora was so unusual there, appearing only during extreme solar events. Some composers have written music inspired by the aurora. These pieces often feature flowing, ethereal passages meant to evoke the aurora's gentle movement. String instruments play sustained notes that gradually change, like colors shifting in the sky. Woodwinds add delicate ornaments, like the fine details in aurora curtains. Listening to aurora-inspired music while imagining the lights can be deeply relaxing, creating a multi-sensory experience even if you've never seen the aurora in person. The relationship between the aurora and the solar cycle means that aurora activity is somewhat predictable on a large scale. Every 11 years, solar activity increases, then decreases. We can predict that certain years will be better for aurora viewing than others. But within that cycle, individual nights remain unpredictable. It's like knowing that winter will be cold, but not knowing which specific days will have snowstorms. Patterns exist, but details remain uncertain. Aurora tourism has become significant in northern regions. Local economies in places like Iceland, northern Scandinavia, Alaska, and northern Canada benefit from tourists who come specifically to see the lights. Hotels, tour operators, photographers, and guides all support this aurora economy. In a way, the northern lights help sustain communities in remote northern regions, providing income during the dark winter months when other forms of tourism decline. The speed at which aurora curtains move isn't actually the curtain itself moving. The curtain is made of gas molecules that are more or less stationary. What moves is the excitation, the energy that makes them glow. It's like a wave at a sports stadium. The people don't move around the stadium, they just stand and sit in sequence, creating the illusion of movement. Similarly, the aurora's apparent movement is energy flowing through relatively still gas, lighting it up in sequence. Children in the Arctic grow up with the aurora as a normal part of life. They learn about it in school, see it regularly in winter, and sometimes take it for granted the way children in other places take rainbows or clouds for granted. But many Arctic residents say that even growing up with it, the aurora never loses its magic completely. There's always something special about looking up and seeing the sky alive with color. The aurora is completely natural and has been happening for as long as Earth has had an atmosphere and magnetic field. Dinosaurs saw the aurora. Early mammals saw it. The first humans saw it. It was dancing in the sky before there was anyone to watch it and name it and wonder about it. This timeline is humbling. The aurora connects us to the deep past of our planet, to a phenomenon older than human civilization, older than humanity itself. Asterisk, some nights, the aurora is so faint that you can barely see it with your eyes. But a camera with a long exposure can capture vivid colors. This happens because cameras can accumulate light over several seconds, gathering photons that your eyes miss in real time. So sometimes aurora photographers see amazing images on their camera screens while their eyes see only faint glows. Both experiences are valid. The aurora exists both for the eye and for the lens, revealing different aspects to each. The sound reports associated with auroras are fascinating and controversial. Some people claim to hear crackling or rustling sounds during very intense auroras. Scientists have proposed various explanations. Maybe strong electromagnetic fields induce currents in metal objects that create sounds. Maybe charged particles reach down to ground level in extreme cases. Or maybe it's psychological, the brain expecting to hear something accompanying such a visual spectacle. The mystery remains unsolved. The aurora was probably one of the first scientific mysteries that ancient humans pondered. Long before written history, people looked up at these lights and wondered, what are they? Where do they come from? What do they mean? This wondering led to mythology, to storytelling, to attempts at explanation. The aurora sparked human curiosity and imagination. In a way, it helped develop our capacity for wonder and our desire to understand the world. Modern light pollution is making the aurora harder to see from populated areas. Cities glow with artificial light that drowns out the subtle colors of the aurora. This means people have to travel farther to see the lights clearly. The aurora hasn't changed, but our ability to see it has diminished in many places. This makes pristine dark sky locations even more valuable. Protecting dark skies means protecting our ability to witness natural wonders like the aurora. The aurora occurs continuously on both the day and night sides of the aurora oval. But we can only see it where it's dark. So, if you could somehow see the entire aurora oval at once, you'd see it as a complete ring around the magnetic pole, with the side over sunlit areas invisible but still glowing. The aurora doesn't care about day or night. It responds only to solar wind and magnetic fields. Darkness is our requirement for seeing it, not a requirement for its existence. Some people have proposed that the aurora could be used as a natural light source. If we lived in cities within the aurora zone, could we use aurora light for illumination? The answer is no. Even the brightest aurora provides only faint light, roughly equivalent to a quarter moon. It's not nearly bright enough for reading or working. The aurora is beautiful but dim, ghostly but not practical. It's light meant for wonder, not for utility. The electromagnetic energy in the aurora is real and measurable. During auroras, instruments detect fluctuations in Earth's magnetic field, induced electrical currents in the ground and in long conductors like power lines and pipelines. These currents are usually small, but during extreme events, they can be significant enough to cause problems. The aurora is a visible sign of invisible energy flowing through our planet's magnetic environment. People who've seen the aurora often describe it as a life-changing experience. They talk about feeling connected to the universe, understanding their place in the cosmos, experiencing profound beauty that stays with them forever. These aren't exaggerations. There's something about standing beneath the dancing light, so far from home, so small under the vast sky, that affects people deeply. The aurora has a way of putting life into perspective. The aurora is patient. It has been appearing for billions of years. It will continue long after we're gone. Individual displays last hours at most, but the phenomenon itself is eternal as long as the sun shines and Earth has a magnetic field. This permanence is comforting. No matter what happens in our brief human lives, the aurora will keep dancing. It's larger than us, more enduring. A reminder that beauty exists independent of observers. Let's complete our peaceful journey through the magical world of the Northern Lights, wrapping ourselves in these final beautiful truths about nature's most breathtaking light show. The aurora has witnessed all of human history. It danced above ancient civilizations, above explorers crossing frozen seas, above the first people to reach the poles. It glowed during moments of human triumph and tragedy, completely indifferent to our dramas, simply continuing its eternal performance. This perspective is both humbling and freeing. Our individual worries seem smaller when we remember that the aurora has been here far longer than we have and will continue long after we're gone. In Japanese, the northern lights are called aura, borrowed from the English word aurora. But Japan rarely sees the aurora because it's too far south. For Japanese people who travel north to see the lights, it's often a bucket list experience, something dreamed about for years. The universality of aurora appreciation crosses all cultural boundaries. People from every corner of Earth are drawn to witness these lights when given the chance. The thickness of the aurora varies not just vertically, but also horizontally. Sometimes aurora curtains are narrow, like ribbons just a few miles wide. Other times, they spread across hundreds of miles of sky. The horizontal extent depends on how widespread the solar particle bombardment is, and how Earth's magnetic field channels those particles. White auroras create a sense of being surrounded by light, enclosed in a dome of glowing sky. Some aurora displays pulse rhythmically. The brightness increases and decreases in regular intervals, creating a breathing effect. These pulsing auroras happen when the process of particle collision occurs in waves rather than continuously. Watching a pulsing aurora is like watching a heartbeat made of light, a rhythm set by forces beyond our world, synchronized to the invisible beat of electromagnetic interactions in space. The aurora has no shadow because it's self-luminous, creating its own light through particle collisions, rather than reflecting light from elsewhere. It doesn't cast shadows the way the moon or artificial lights do. Objects on the ground remain shadowless even under bright auroras. This shadowless illumination adds to the aurora's otherworldly quality. The light seems to come from everywhere and nowhere, surrounding you without creating darkness anywhere. Indigenous Arctic peoples developed their own aurora forecasting methods. Long before modern science, they observed correlations between weather patterns, animal behavior, and aurora activity. They noticed that certain types of clouds or wind conditions preceded strong auroras. While these traditional methods weren't as precise as modern technology, they worked well enough. This traditional knowledge shows deep observation of nature and careful recording of patterns across generations. The aurora affects the ionosphere, a layer of Earth's atmosphere filled with charged particles. During auroras, the ionosphere becomes more ionized, more electrically active. This affects radio wave propagation, which is why ham radio operators pay attention to auroral activity. Some radio enthusiasts actually enjoy the challenge of communicating during auroral disturbances, adapting their techniques to work with or around the ionospheric changes. The aurora connects to technology in unexpected ways. Proposals have been made to use aurora activity as a source of renewable energy. The electromagnetic energy is real and abundant during strong auroras. However, capturing this energy efficiently remains a challenge. The energy is diffuse, spread over vast areas and altitudes. Current technology can't harvest it economically. So for now, the aurora remains an energy source only for inspiration and wonder, not for powering our homes. Perhaps future technology will find a way. The color saturation of the aurora varies with intensity. Faint auroras often appear greenish-white or pale green to the human eye. As they intensify, colors become more vivid. The brightest auroras show distinct greens, purples, reds, and blues. This relationship between brightness and color saturation means that spectacular, colorful auroras are also usually the brightest and most active. Color and intensity go hand in hand, like volume and richness in music. Some artists have dedicated their careers to painting the aurora. These artists travel repeatedly to the Arctic, sketching and photographing, trying to capture not just the appearance, but the feeling of the aurora. They work to translate the experience into paint on canvas, knowing that the medium has limitations. No painting can truly recreate seeing the aurora in person. But these artistic attempts help communicate something of its beauty to those who haven't witnessed it themselves. The aurora appears in poetry across many languages and cultures. Poets use the aurora as a metaphor for mystery, beauty, the sublime, the unreachable. They write about its colors, its movement, its silence. Aurora poetry tends toward the contemplative and spiritual, as if the aurora naturally draws poetic minds toward bigger questions about existence and meaning. Reading aurora poetry, even without seeing the lights, can evoke something of their peaceful, transcendent quality. Scientists continue discovering new aspects of the aurora. Recent research has identified new types of auroral displays with names like Steve, which stands for strong thermal emission velocity enhancement. A purplish arc distinct from typical auroras. There are also dunes, a newly recognized aurora type that looks like parallel ripples across the sky. Even after centuries of study, the aurora still holds surprises. Nature always has more to teach us. The aurora is a reminder that Earth is not isolated. We exist in space, surrounded by the solar wind, bathed in cosmic rays, protected by our magnetic field. The aurora makes this cosmic context visible. It's a physical manifestation of our planet's relationship with the sun and with space. When you see the aurora, you're seeing proof that Earth is part of a larger system, a reminder of the connections between celestial bodies. Some people travel to see the aurora multiple times, becoming what might be called aurora chasers. For them, one viewing is never enough. Each aurora is different, and they want to experience as many as possible. They learn the best locations, the best times, the signs of incoming activity. Chasing the aurora becomes a passion, a reason to travel, a way of connecting with nature in one of its most spectacular forms. The aurora is democratic in a way. It doesn't discriminate. Anyone in the right location at the right time can see it, regardless of wealth, status, or background. You don't need special equipment or permission. You just need to be there, looking up. This accessibility makes the aurora a shared human experience, available to rich and poor alike. A gift from nature that can't be bought or controlled. Children's books about the aurora often present it as friendly and magical. They personify the lights, giving them personalities and voices. These stories help children understand and appreciate the aurora without fear. Growing up with stories that present the aurora as beautiful and benign creates a sense of wonder rather than superstition. Literature shapes how we perceive natural phenomena, and aurora literature generally emphasizes beauty and amazement. The aurora has been used in movies and television as a symbol of the Arctic, the unknown, the mystical. Filmmakers use aurora footage to establish location and mood. The lights suggest remoteness, wildness, natural power. Sometimes the aurora appears in fantasy or science fiction as a magical or technological phenomenon. Its inherent beauty makes it a versatile visual element that enhances any scene it appears in. The future of aurora viewing is secure for now. As long as the sun continues its 11-year cycle and Earth maintains its magnetic field, the aurora will keep appearing. Climate change won't stop the aurora, though it might affect weather patterns that determine cloud cover. Light pollution is a growing concern, but there will always be remote areas dark enough for viewing. Future generations will have the same opportunity. We have to witness this timeless wonder. Some people believe the aurora has healing properties. Whether this is psychological or something more is debated, but there's no doubt that witnessing the aurora can be emotionally and spiritually uplifting. It provides perspective, inspires awe, creates joy. These emotional benefits are real and valuable. If the aurora helps someone feel better, more centered, more at peace, then, in a sense, it is healing. Regardless of the mechanism, the aurora teaches patience. You can't rush it. You can't control it. You can only wait and hope and watch. In our modern world of instant gratification, the aurora is a reminder that some beautiful things require patience. You might wait for hours in the cold. You might see nothing, but when the lights finally appear, that patience is rewarded in a way that instant experiences never are. The waiting makes the payoff sweeter. The aurora connects past and present. The Vikings saw these same lights. Indigenous peoples have watched them for thousands of years. Scientists study them with modern instruments. Tourists photograph them with smartphones. Artists paint them. Poets write about them. All of these people across time and culture are connected by shared experience of the aurora. It's a thread running through human history, linking us to those who came before and those who will come after. The silence of the aurora is part of its power. Most spectacular natural phenomena make sound, thunder, waterfalls, wind, but the aurora is silent, or nearly so. This silence creates a meditative quality. You watch in quiet, perhaps with only the sound of your own breathing or the crunch of snow underfoot. The silence makes the experience more internal, more contemplative. It's a show for the eyes and the soul, not for the ears. Imagine yourself there now, standing in the Arctic night. The air is cold and still. Stars fill the sky in numbers you've never seen before. And then, on the northern horizon, a faint green glow appears. It's subtle at first, barely noticeable, but gradually it intensifies. It rises higher. It begins to move. Curtains of light unfold across the sky. Colors shift. Green becomes purple. Purple becomes red. The lights dance and flow and pulse. You stand there, breath visible in the cold air, neck craned back, eyes wide. You're aware of being small, of standing on a planet spinning through space, of being part of something vast and ancient and ongoing. The aurora doesn't care that you're watching. It would happen anyway. But you're grateful to be here, to witness this, to experience beauty on this scale. The cold fades from your awareness. Time becomes meaningless. You don't know if you've been standing there for 5 minutes or an hour. Nothing else matters in this moment. Work, worries, the future, the past, all of it falls away. There's only this, only now, only the light and the sky and the profound peace of bearing witness to nature's artistry. And as you watch, you understand something that can't quite be put into words. Something about connection, about beauty, about the universe being larger and more wonderful than we usually remember in our day-to-day lives. The aurora is a gift, a reminder, a wake-up call. It says, look, see, remember, there's magic in this world. Not the magic of fairy tales, but the magic of physics and chemistry creating wonder. The magic of reality being more spectacular than fiction. You could stay forever, but eventually the aurora begins to fade. The colors dim. The movement slows. The curtains dissolve back into darkness, and the sky returns to stars and silence. But something has changed. You've changed. You've been touched by something profound. You'll carry this experience with you. On difficult days, you'll remember standing under the aurora. You'll remember that such beauty exists, and that will help as you drift towards sleep now. Take that image with you. The aurora dancing silently above you. The peace of that cold night. The wonder of those colors. Let it fill your mind, pushing out other thoughts. Let the aurora's gentle movement lull you deeper into relaxation. Imagine you're still there, wrapped in warm blankets, watching the sky, perfectly at peace. The northern lights continue their eternal dance, indifferent to whether anyone watches, yet somehow seeming to perform just for you when you're lucky enough to be there. They've been dancing since long before humans existed. They'll dance long after we're gone. But right now, in this moment, as you sink deeper into rest, they dance for you. Let the colors flow behind your closed eyes. Green like spring leaves, purple like twilight, red like sunset reflected in water. Let these colors merge and blend. Let them move like curtains in a breeze. Let them carry you gently down into the deepest, most peaceful sleep. You are safe. You are calm. You are held by the earth beneath you and surrounded by the beauty of the cosmos above. The aurora continues its ancient dance. The sun continues sending its particles across space. Earth's magnetic field continues its protective embrace. And you, you simply rest. You let go. You sleep. The northern lights are dancing now, somewhere in the polar night. And whether you ever see them in person or not, you carry their peace within you now. You understand their beauty. You've traveled with them through this journey, and that understanding, that connection, is yours to keep forever. Sleep now under your own invisible aurora. Let your dreams be filled with flowing colors and peaceful darkness. Let the wonder of the northern lights stay with you as you rest. You've earned this sleep. You deserve this peace. The aurora blesses your rest with its timeless, silent beauty. Good night, dear friend. May you dream in colors of green and purple and red. May you wake refreshed and renewed. May the memory of the dancing lights bring you comfort and joy. The northern lights will continue their dance, and you will continue your journey. But for now, there is only rest, only peace, only sleep, sweet dreams.